Hi, I'm Bobby Kelly. I'm sales here at All-Fill, and in the last few months we've gotten an update in software to most of our Checkweigher models. So I want to take you through some of the new features that we're offering and show you what you can expect when you get your Checkweigher. So right here we have a new color touchscreen 10-inch HMI up from the previous 7-inch, and it comes with some additional features. As far as programming goes, setting up a recipe, calibration, those things are the same, but I'll walk you through some of the additional features as well. So the first thing I want to show you how to do is how to set up a recipe. The Checkweigher comes standard with 100 programmable recipes. Anywhere up to 300 is an option. And this is the most important part. Once you really know how to set up a recipe and you do the calibration, it's saved in the Checkweigher. So it's not a process that you have to continually repeat unless you're setting up a new recipe. Once you do it once, it's locked in and saved. So let's say we set up recipe number 1 here. It's always going to be recipe number 1 unless you manually overwrite it. So the first step is to go into the select menu, and you can toggle up and down between recipe numbers, or you can just jump to a recipe. So let's say we jump to recipe number 1 here. You want to go into quick setup, and this is where you'll enter your application parameters. So I'll give it a product name. I'll just call it test. The next step is you want to enter your packet length, and we do have a ruler on the Checkweigher here. It's about 2 1/4 inches, this bottle, and the reason that you enter the packet length is because the Checkweigher actually calculates how many times it can weigh the product from when it hits the in-feed photo eye to the out-feed photo eye. And what it does is it spews out an average on a bell curve. It's not just weighing it once, it's weighing it as many times as it can. So we have our product name, our product length in. Now the Checkweigher gives you the option to either weigh in gross or net weight. Net weight would be if you want to tear out the bottle weight and you just want to know what's inside, but most people opt to weigh in gross so they encompass the full body of the product. So since we're weighing in gross, we don't have a tear weight. The next step is to set your conveyor speed. So this particular Checkweigher was built to run a little faster, so the range is about 96 to 240 feet a minute. We'll just run it at 100 feet per minute. And then the last step here is to enter your target weight. Now, I recommend getting your target weight and weighing it on a platform scale first, but we can, for this example, use the Checkweigher just to get a weight. So what I'm going to do is go into the test menu, I'll tear out the scale, hit 0, I'll put the product on, and we know it weighs 390.5 grams. So I'll go back into our main menu here, into the quick setup, and I'll enter 390.5 grams. So once you enter all your product information here, you're going to go into auto dynamic calibration. This is where you can set your high and low limits. You can tell the Checkweigher anything under this weight I want rejected via the push or reject, or anything over this weight I want to reject. So we'll just leave what it has on there now. Instead of entering it manually, you can also do a percentage. So say I want 1% under and 1% over rejected. We have those numbers inputted here. We hit the red button and it'll auto calculate. I'll hit start. You want to run the product anywhere from 5 to 10 times. It comes standard as 7, so we'll just leave it 7. We're going to run this across 7 times. We're going to get our data, and then we're ready to run this product. So as you can see, as we're getting our weights here, it actually weighed that product 31 times in that short span of distance that it covered there, and it's spewing out the average on a bell curve. So basically what the Checkweigher is doing right now, it's figuring out the product, seeing how many times it can weigh it while it's on the weigh table, and then we'll get our statistics, we'll know our standard deviation, basically which tells us the accuracy that we're going to get, and then you're ready to run. So everything looks good here, your min weight, max weight, average weight. Your standard deviation was 0.2, which we quote all of our Checkweigers at 2 sigma, so you want to double that. So right now you're getting about plus or minus 0.4 grams or 400 milligrams, which is really accurate. We're going to go into our main menu here. Now we're ready to run. We set up product 1, I press start, and you're ready to run. So it's delaying the scale right now. The Checkweigher starts in a sequence because it's auto tearing. It's making sure there's nothing on the weigh table. We're ready to run, we run it across, and we get a green weight. So that's basically how to set up a product. But I'm going to show you some of the additional features that we have. This is your main run screen here. It's going to give you, your overs, your accepts, your unders. and the max, average, standard deviation, and minimum weight. If you go into the statistics screen here, which is the bottom right button, there's basically just a number of ways to display the data. And you can run in any of these screens while the Checkweigher is in motion. It's not going to affect the Checkweigher. So you can view it in a traffic cop type screen. You can view the last 25 weights. You can do short-term stats, batch stats. Really, whatever data that you need, it's going to be available on the stats screen. So if I go back here into the main menu, I'll also show you our test screen feature. Now, the test screen is basically just a simple troubleshooting measure screen. You won't really need it too much, but here you can make sure that your lights are working. You see that this is a live scale. If I push my hand on it, the weights will bounce up and down. I think the most useful feature on this screen is the in-feed and the out-feed photo eye sensors. So a lot of times in a dusty environment and the Checkweigher is not capturing the weight, most times it's because the photo eye is blocked or it's not seeing the product correctly. So if you go into the test screen, you'll be able to tell if in fact the Checkweigher is seeing the product. So if I put my hand here, it recognizes the in-feed sensor. Put my hand here, it recognizes the out-feed sensor. Also in this menu, you can test your conveyors, turn them on and off. Same with the reject. So like I said, just a basic troubleshooting screen. You also, in our 5 sub-menus down here, you have the calibration feature. Now these are password protected features, but it'll allow you to do things like a static calibration if you ever see any off weights, or if you have to have a third party come out and verify your scale. And you can also set up your reject timing from this screen as well. What I want to get into now is some of the new features that we have on the Checkweigher. So now as a standard comes a multi-level password protection. So up here, you can see that the login is in a bypass screen. But if I enter our password here, now this is the password that comes standard on all of our Checkweigers, you can see that I'm logged in now as the admin. So the admin has the ability to pretty much make any changes that they want on the Checkweigher. They'll have access to all the different features. Now if I go into the select menu here, again, I'll do that again. I go into the select menu, and once I logged in as the admin button appears here. Now what the admin has the ability to do is they have the ability to set the passwords for all the other levels of access. So for example, they can set the maintenance passwords. So a maintenance guy comes in, he can log in using his specific password, and he'll have ability to access certain features of the Checkweigher, but not all of them that the admin would. Same goes with the engineer. They have a little bit more accessibility than a maintenance person would, but not quite as much as the admin. So basically logging in using these different passwords will allow you different access levels to the Checkweigher. The admin being the one that has the most access. You can also set an auto logout time. So you can do that anywhere from a minute to a couple hours, basically saying, you know, the Checkweigher is going to automatically log out of whatever level of access that is logged in, and you'll have to enter the password again to be able to regain that level of access. So that's a new feature that we have on the Checkweigher. Another new feature that we have on the Checkweigher, which is really helping us moving forward, is gone are the days where you would have to, let's say you wanted a data package, and you called in and said you wanted our data to USB package that you didn't originally purchase. Now, instead of us having a service guy come out and installing the software, or you sending your board and HMI back, all we do is we can give you a temporary password which will allow you to unlock that feature remotely, so you don't have to worry about getting a service guy come in, or you don't have to worry about shipping your board and HMI back or purchasing a new one. It saves a lot of money for the customer, saves both parties a lot of time, and it's a really important feature. So if you go into the login screen here, if you were to purchase a data to USB package, we would give you a temporary password. You'd enter that password, and the feature would now be unlocked. I'll show you some of the features that are available to be unlocked. You can add feedback. You can add anywhere from an additional 100 to 200 recipes. You can add either one of our data packages over here. You can add reject verification. So it's gonna, like I said, it'll save the customer a lot of time. It'll save the customer money to just be able to access these features remotely now. I'll go back into the main screen here. And that's pretty much it. That's the base overview of how you would set up a product. how you would access some of the different screens. The two new takeaways are the standard multi-level password protection, as well as the ability to remotely add new options and features with the Checkweigher. For more information, you can email us at info@allfill.com or call us at 610-524-7350.